So it's like 57 grams into this small capsule. If you calculate it into a kilo, you pay 95 francs for a kilo of coffee. Now that is quite a feat, right? To sell coffee for 95 francs the kilo. So what's behind it? Why has Nespresso been so successful? And the typical answer is always George Clooney. I'll get back to him in a second. It's not entirely George Clooney. Actually, it is because Nespresso changed the business model for coffee. Now, actually, there's only one place in the world where you can drink coffee, and that's in Italy. And that was actually also where the idea was born. So actually, somebody at Nestle, back in the days, he wanted to get the same experience, so the same emotion as Italian espresso, but doing that at home and not driving all the way to Rome to get a good cup of coffee. There was an emotion behind it, but the entire business model behind it made it possible to sell a coffee for 95 francs a kilo. So this resulted in 2011 in 3.2 billion. Nestle expects 4 billion by a single product. That's about 4% of entire revenue of Nestle. Now that is quite a feat, right? So what's behind? Well, it's not only the capsule, right? It's not only the coffee. So Nestle is a food company, so they were into coffee. And then they suddenly came up with this capsule, but also with this device where you put in the capsule. And that is actually an entirely new business for Nestle, where they weren't in the past. And then you get this experience of this Italian coffee. Here's George Clooney, I promised you already, for the ladies in the room. And actually, I've done some work in Nespresso, and in the beginning it was a big bet. So they invested heavily into getting this guy. But it paid off quite directly, because the day after they put the commercial, the next day the machine sales went like this. And he still does that, which is quite amazing. But the question remains, what is a business model?